So, whatever you think you know about Halloween Ends, yeah, you might want to throw that one out the window before you see the movie. Hey, movie fans, I just got back from seeing the latest Blumhouse Halloween movie, Halloween Ends, marketed as the final confrontation between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. Now, I'll be straight up, if any of you have followed me for a long enough period of time, you know Halloween is my favorite horror franchise of all time. Not just that, it's one of my favorite franchises of all time. It's the franchise that got me into horror and other genres of movies. I love the Halloween franchise. I love almost all of them. I even have a soft spot for 5. It's not great, but I'll watch it. 6 I own. I'll watch it occasionally. I can even tolerate the first Rob Zombie. I think Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is the worst Halloween movie in the entire franchise. Well, at least I thought it was until about a few hours ago, but that might still be up in there. I need some time to marinate on it because, guys, Halloween Ends is so frustrating, and I can't really say why. There are some choices that were made, and let's get into some positives, and let's try and be optimistic. I said some choices were made. I will give them credit where credit is due. Cue Bart Simpson meme, at least you tried, because this movie does make some big swings, but to those that make the big swings, sometimes you make the big misses, and I think this is a colossal miss. So I had heard some of the general thoughts and consensus before this movie came out. It's like, I'm going to try and get that out of my head. I'm going to try and formulate my own opinions and just see this movie how it is, because critics have never favored the Halloween sequels as favorable at all. Like, Halloween 2 from 1981 is not viewed particularly well, but I love that movie so much. Same with Halloween 4. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just the critics. And for the first maybe 30, 40 minutes of this movie, I'm like, okay, it definitely has some issues. I think we're focusing on the wrong characters here, but it's not bad. Oh, I can pinpoint at least like 1 or 2 moments and I'm going, nope, I'm out. I'm out. If I'm not so invested in this franchise, I would have left a long time ago, because there's certain choices that are made that I'm going, why did you make the choices that you made? But we'll get into that. We're focusing on the positives here. Jamie Lee Curtis can play the role of Laurie Strode in her sleep. She is so good, so charming, so lovable in this role. She's playing a very different Laurie than we've seen so far in the Blumhouse trilogy. So far, she's just been grief-ridden and anxiety-struck. Strike that, reverse it. Either one, it still works. She's been a paranoid schizophrenic, basically, of like, Michael's gonna come back, Michael's gonna come back, warn the town, Michael's coming back. Whereas this one, she's much more reserved, she's calm. Michael's been out of her life for a very long time. She's more or less moved on. She's working on a book. She's great. I just love Jamie Lee Curtis, and this was a wonderful send-off to the character. I still really like Andi Matichak as Allison, even if she's very different from the last time we saw her. There's a lot of inconsistency with characters. John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, and Daniel Davies once again come back for the music. I think they do a fantastic job with the music. The entire Blumhouse trilogy has spectacular music. Bringing John Carpenter back for the music was the best thing they could have done. James Jude Courtney, once again, is a great Michael Myers, considering what they gave the character to do for this movie. I will still give him credit of he's still a menacing presence. Any other positives? There's some fun Easter eggs. I had fun in the theater leaning over to Heather every once in a while, be like, hey, that could be a callback to 4, or was that a callback to 6 or H2O? Like, there's some really obscure callbacks here for like the die-hard Halloween fans. But boy, callbacks are not enough to make a good movie. So I said in the tease at the beginning, whatever you think this movie is, throw it out the window, because the marketing for this is not the movie you're going to get. Now, again, I'm going to try and make this as spoiler-free as possible, so if you are curious about this, you're not going to have it ruined by me, but I'll try my best, because so much of this movie and the issues that I have with it were not expressed in the trailers or not told to us what the actual story is. Let's just say the characters that should be the focus of this movie are the characters that are not actually the focus of this movie. There are certain new characters, one in particular, that everything rests on this one character's shoulders. It's the one Jenga piece that's holding up the entire tower. I can really boil this movie down to one problem I have, and it's this one specific character and the storyline that they are insistent on going for, whether it makes sense or not. But the problem is this is a new character that we've never seen before. So there is not this emotion that you're connected to with this character. You're like, okay, who are you? Why should I care? Yes, we acknowledge that something happened to this character at one point, and thus begins a trail of more or less like bad luck or like the way people perceive this person. I'm just like, okay, but like, I'm here for Laurie, I'm here for Allison, I'm here for the characters that survived the previous movies. I'm much more emotionally invested in them because I've seen them before. And also just, this movie doesn't feel as connected to the other movies. This whole Blumhouse trilogy, now that it's done, feels exactly the same as the Star Wars sequel trilogy of the first movie was great, primarily just because they copied the formula for that original movie. Halloween and Halloween 2018 are very, very similar. A New Hope and Force Awakens were very, very similar. And then you get two subsequent sequel movies that don't really come together as a cohesive trilogy very well, and are kind of doing their own thing and divide the fan base even more. Like, the Halloween Kills really divided the fan base. This is going to divide the fan base even more, just like Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker did. However, I'll give it past the sequel trilogy because it was two different creative minds. You had JJ doing episode 7 and episode 9, and Rian Johnson kind of splitting it right down the middle. This, the entire time, is David Gordon Green and Danny McBride writing a story, like kind of the overarching narrative. And you could tell they ran out of ideas after Halloween 2018. They're like, oh crap, we have an obligatory trilogy we need to make here, but they don't really have the material for it. They didn't really know where to go. So they keep trying to bring in these deeper themes or like political commentary, which in a horror movie is not bad or even groundbreaking, but you've got to do it well and subtle. This movie does not know what subtlety is. They're just like, this is the story direction we're going. You get it? You get it? You get it? You better like it. This is the future of the series. We're going, we get it. Have faith in your audience that we're not stupid, but also maybe don't go down this route because do you know the fans aren't going to like this? The diehard fans really are not going to like the route that you're taking. I applaud you once again for making bold choices in a franchise that all too often plays it safe. Halloween has teased the idea of doing something new and different at the end of Halloween 4 when Jamie Lloyd is the one that's revealed to have killed somebody and then they immediately retcon it away. Halloween all too often will retcon away potentially groundbreaking decisions. They make groundbreaking decisions here and they stick to their guns for better or for worse. So I'll applaud them for that. But there's just the one Jenga piece. Overall, this movie could work, but there's one piece that I can't talk about here because of spoilers, but there's one piece that everything revolves around this one piece in the movie. It's not like you can just take this out and it fixes it. It's like Hellraiser is really popular right now because of the rebooted movie on Hulu. Well, a lot of Hellraiser sequels were never intended to be Hellraiser sequels. They were intended to be other movies, and then Hellraiser kind of got grafted on at the last second, didn't keep the rights. For better or for worse, that's exactly what Halloween Ends feels like. It feels like someone was making some other movie, which takes up about 70% of this runtime in the middle. That's not connected to the beginning or the end, but they're like, oh crap, this has to be a Halloween movie. Smush it all together, and it does not come together cohesively at all. It's very, very frustrating because there are certain elements to this that if you just pull it out from here and put it here, or take this out entirely and throw it to the side, or just maybe have a more cohesive roadmap from the beginning when you're making Halloween 2018, this would be better as a whole. Like the trilogy, but this movie specifically, there is some good resolution by the end of this for certain characters, but at the end of the day, it's not as cathartic as you're hoping for because they've built this up as this is the final one. But, which again, for Halloween, we've been there, done that with H2O. That was supposed to be the final confrontation between Laurie and Michael, as was Halloween 2018. But like we've been there. What made this one special? Nothing. They didn't, at the end of the day, give us a reason why this Michael and this Laurie face-off matters more or is different than any of the other times that they fought. It is still just, it's a Michael versus Laurie movie, but not really. It's not the focus, which it should be, and the marketing has led you to believe that it is. But if you're expecting Michael v. Laurie or Michael v. Allison, don't. I can't tell you why, but take all your expectations out the window, then pick them back up from the window, lower them, and then throw them out the window again. I am always an advocate for seeing a movie in theaters and seeing it with a crowded audience. My audience did not react to this movie at all. If you have the choice, watch it on Peacock instead if you have any desire to see this movie whatsoever. But for me, I'll have to marinate on it more, but as it stands right now, I don't know if it's the worst Halloween movie, but it very well might be the most frustrating in the entire franchise by a wide margin. Well, what did you guys think? What did you guys... Did it live up to your expectations? Were you disappointed with Halloween Ends? Let me know in the comments below. I'm very curious to know what you guys think, and especially about that one element. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts from for the Uncharted Media Podcast. And subscribe to us on YouTube. Help us get to 700 subscribers. We're almost there. You could be the one that helps us cross the finish line. Be that awesome person today. Hit the subscribe button, or else Michael will get you. I don't know. I don't have dominion over him anymore. Or do I? As always, stay sharp, movie guys and gals.